It's January 6, 1970, and a man named Jack Follick returns from vacation to his luxury apartment in New York's Washington Square Village. He opens the door, and the apartment is unlocked. There's a strange smell, and then he sees her. A woman face down on the living room floor, her throat slashed. She's been there for 9 days. Her name was Bani Yelverton, and this is the story of a forgotten trailblazer, a brutal murder, and the astrology that hunts it all. Bani was born Barbara Yelverton in Savannah, Georgia, 1932. As a teenager, she left home for New York to chase a dream, modeling. She changed her name to Bani, a nod to her spiritual upbringing in the movement of Father Divine. She found work at Grace DeMarco's agency in Harlem, a training ground for Black models ran by the legendary Ophelia DeVore. In 1958, a photographer named Erwin Blumenfield chose her for a groundbreaking color spread in Look magazine. She was the only non-white model in the shoot. Some say they placed her at the far right so racist readers could cut her out. But Blumenfield loved her. He said, and I quote, "Bani's looks and personality embodies the charms, sadness, and compression of a blues singer." She was the Black Holly Golightly, a model, a jewelry maker, a waitress at the Village Bitch. She moved between Harlem's jazz clubs and Greenwich Village bohemian parties. She knew David Durkins, Godfrey Cambridge. She was vibrant, beloved, and deeply, deeply afraid. Bani lived in a tenement at 89 East 3rd Street. By the late 1960s, that block had become a no-man's land of drugs and gangs. Her neighbor said Bani will only come home during the day and only by taxi. She was terrified that the addicts in her building would break in. So when her friend Jack Follick asked her to house sit his luxury apartment while he was away, she must have felt safe. Finally, but safety was an illusion. Sometime after Christmas, 1969, Bani was attacked. The medical examiner said she was raped and then her throat was slashed with a knife left at the scene. Her body lay there for 9 days before Jack found her. And then police quickly focused in on a man named Robert W. Johnson. He owned a restaurant where Bani sometimes worked, and also he was the last person seen with her. Investigators found red ceramic particles on Johnson's shoes. These particles also matched a broken pot in the apartment, and even particles found on Bani's scalp. Not to mention, he failed a lie detector test, but a grand jury refused to indict him. The charges were dismissed, and no one was ever arrested. Bani's murder remains unsolved. Now, let's take a look at the astrology. And I want to be clear. Planets don't force anything to happen. They're not causes, they're storytellers. They tell us the energy of a moment. Bani was born March 11th, 1932. That makes her a Pisces. Pisces energy is dreamy, autistic, compassionate. It's the sign of the majestic, the artist, the woman who feels everything deeply. That fits Bani. The model, the jewelry maker, the bohemian spirit that moves through Harlem and Greenwich Village. like she's made of the moonlight. But here is where it gets haunting. I looked at the transit chart for that day she died, December 28th, 1969, and two things jumped out at me. First, Mars was opposite Pluto. In astrology, Mars is action, aggression, violence. Pluto is death, transformation, the underworld. When these two planets face off in a hard aspect, it is a signature astrologers associate with sudden, brutal endings, life and death in the same breath. Second, Jupiter and Neptune were both in Scorpio. Jupiter expands whatever it touches. Neptune blurs things. It rules mystery, illusion, and fog. And Scorpio is the sign of secrets, of the hidden, of things that stay buried. So when you have a planet of expansion and a planet of mystery together in the sign of the unseen, to me, that's astrology of an unsolved case. A story that was meant to stay in the shadows. Now, Bani Yelverton was a pioneer and Black woman who broke barriers in fashion at a time when this country did not want to see her face. She lived boldly, creatively, and on her own terms. And then, in a luxury apartment she was house sitting as a favor, her life was taken. Her murder was never solved. The man they arrested walked free. And somewhere along the way, her story slipped through the cracks. But not anymore. I'm Coco, and this is Coco Scorpio TV. I tell the stories of forgotten women, the ones the world didn't bother to remember. Bani Yelverton is one of them. If you want more stories like this, please like and subscribe. And in the comments, tell me, do you think Robert Johnson got away with murder? Or is there someone else we never heard about? Until next time, please take care of each other and never